The stepson of feared hood Kevin Gerbil Carroll has followed in his dad's footsteps by being a getaway driver for a broad daylight gangland execution. 25-year-old Reece Trainer, son of Gerbil's longtime partner Kelly Green, was jailed earlier this year for ferrying Daniel gang crony Malcolm McNee, who's 63, to Milton in Glasgow to execute Lyons member 44-year-old John McGregor. Trainer then fled to a rural hut commune in Stirlingshire, where he hid out in a wooden shack on the world-famous West Highland Way. The remote hideout at Carbeth Huts estate allowed the on-the-run hood to regroup before bolting to England, Spain and finally Mexico, where he stayed on the run for 2 years. Lord Harrower referenced the murder of his stepdad when Trainer was just 10 while he was sentenced. He said, "You ran the risk that the situation might escalate, as in fact it did, with disastrous consequences. You of all people must have been aware of that risk, your own stepfather having also been shot dead in broad daylight." McNee, an associate of the Glasgow-based Daniel organised crime group, chased McGregor with a gun before blasting him in the chest as children played nearby on the 26th of August 2021. Following an incident earlier in the evening in which Ronnie Daniel, living just off Westry Street, was threatened, McNee grabbed a shotgun and asked co-accused Trainer to drive him to the scene. The courts heard unemployed McNee and Trainer, a law studies dropout and a member of the Daniel family, though not part of the Daniel crime group, lived in a Hutter settlement at Carbeth near Blainfield in Stirlingshire. Mr McPherson said in response to various phone calls, McNee took a shotgun because he believed that Ronnie Daniel had been threatened by members of the Lyons organised crime group. Mr McPherson added that those making the threats included the Quinn brothers. The prosecutor said Trainer believed the gun would only be used to warn off those threatening Daniel. He drove his white works van, which he used in his job as a domestic energy assessor. Neither Trainer nor McNee made any attempt to conceal their identity, and when they arrived, Trainer's Corsa van was struck with a machete by a man named in court as James Quinn. McNee brandished the gun at gathered youths, who fled. Mr McPherson said McNee made no attempt to fire and got back in the van. Another car with John McGregor in the front passenger seat seemed to block the van before passing each other. Mr McPherson said the deceased and McNee exited their vehicles and confronted each other. The deceased seemed to register that McNee had a firearm and tried to flee and take cover behind parked vehicles. McNee was seen to aim and fire. McGregor was hit once in the chest and staggered a few steps before collapsing. McNee got back into the Corsa and was driven off by Trainer. The Corsa was driven to Cumbernauld by McNee and torched. Trainer admitted having a firearm on the day and location of the murder and attempting to pervert the course of justice. He returned to the UK to be arrested as extradition proceedings were already underway. Thomas Ross KC said the reason Trainer had decided to flee the country was that he feared he may be shot in retaliation. At the High Court in Stirling last year, Lord Harrower told him, "You're a member of the Daniel family, but at the time of the incident you had not been assessed by Police Scotland as being an active member of any organised crime group. Nevertheless, the charges to which you have pled guilty are very serious offences. Although you did not have a leading role in conveying both the shooter and the shotgun to and from the locus, you assumed a significant degree of culpability in an enterprise that involved, at the very least, a high risk of severe physical injury." He was jailed for 4.5 years. Gerbil, a member of the Daniel crime clan, was shot by Billy Buff Patterson, now 45, who was a hitman for Gangland rivals, the Lyons family.